Hello, Year 3, and welcome to your topic lesson. In your previous topic lessons, you have been learning about different forces. One of these forces is gravity. Gravity pulls objects towards the centre of the earth. Have a look at the two balls that you can see on the slide now. They are the same size, but one has a much greater mass. Which one do you think will hit the ground first? Building on what we have learnt about gravity, we'll be looking at why objects don't fall to the earth at the same speed. By now, you should have had a chance to watch the video that was linked to your daily plans about air resistance. If you haven't done this, pause the video now and watch it. Air resistance affects different objects differently due to their surface area. If you look at the parachute, the air resistance pushes up on it, opposing the force of gravity and making the parachute and the person fall more slowly. This is known as air resistance. We are now going to plan and carry out, if you wish, an experiment to prove this. First, we need to decide on the experiment. We will be dropping an object of your choice from a height with a parachute. It is important to consider fair testing. What makes a fair test? What do we mean by the term? Why is it important? Should everything be the same or most things be the same? If you answered most things being the same, you would be right. This is because we want to test the effect of something, and we do this by adding in a variable. Sound confusing? Let's look at delicious ice cream to explain. So I wonder, what makes ice cream melt? To conduct a test into melting ice cream, I need two ice creams. I have one, and Mr. Macram has one. Is this fair? If you were with your brother or sister, and your mum said you could both have an ice cream, and your brother gets a huge one, and you are left with just one scoop, would that be cool? No. To make this test fair, you need two identical ice creams. Remember, we're testing what makes the ice cream melt, not what size ice cream melts the quickest. Now we have the same amount of ice cream. Mr. Macram decides to hold his ice cream for 3 minutes. I'm going to hold mine for 4 hours. Is this fair? To make the test fair, ice cream should be held for the same amount of time. Remember, we are testing what makes the ice cream melt, not how long it takes for ice cream to melt. This test looks pretty fair to me, so now we can include our variable. An independent variable is one thing we will change to test our question. Remember, we are looking at what makes ice cream melt. Well, if two people stood next to each other holding exactly the same ice cream for 3 minutes, chances are the exact same amount will happen. We already know that ice cream will melt out of a freezer, but we want to know what else will make it melt. Here we introduce the idea of an independent variable and a control variable. A control variable helps scientists observe changes within an experiment. Control variables are components that remain the same. One ice cream is going to show you what happens if nothing is done. It is just held for 3 minutes. This is called our control variable. The other, identical ice cream, is going to have something different done to it. We're going to apply heat. This is our independent variable. Now we have our experiment, we can see if and how fast heat has an effect on ice cream and how it melts. What do you think will happen to the two ice creams? Turn and talk to an adult in your room and tell them what you think. Now we have a better understanding of what a fair test and variables are. Think about what variables you will want to choose for your test. Will you change the shape of the parachute? Will you use the parachute for a second test? Will you change the height that you drop the parachute at? Using this planning sheet attached to your timetable, fill this out. Remember, what do you want to find out? What equipment will you use? What could you change? Is it a fair test? What is the method you're going to use? And what prediction could you make? And don't forget to record your results. The second link on your timetable will show you how to create your parachute. If you don't want to do this, have a go at creating your own.